I do not believe that Brian Koberger murdered the Idaho 4 alone. Who's to blame? Before I get started, I want to say I don't speak from a place of ignorance. For example, if I lived in China, they would let me talk about this on TikTok because I have a criminal justice degree and I have a master's degree in legal studies. I also have over 20 years in the legal field and I know how to read codes and statutes, okay? And yes, it's true. I don't believe the narrative that law enforcement gave us about the Idaho 4 murders. So walk with me through this, right? On November 13th, the four people above me that are circled lost their lives. They were murdered in cold blood in their home with a sharp edged weapon. You have right here Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogen at the top, and Kaylee Goncalves right here. And these are their two roommates that were not murdered. So this case shook me at first because it was a situation where there were six people in the house and four were murdered, and it had never dawned on me that someone would try to murder you with that many people in the house. And then as the days went by, evidence came out, and we learned that the two roommates, you have Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen over here, they heard things going on, or at least we knew that Dylan did, heard things going on, but did not call the police until the next morning at noon. And the murders allegedly happened around 4 a.m. And immediately I thought the roommates were involved because that 8-hour delay was just suspicious and remains suspicious to this day. Like, I'm still suspicious of it. And people explained it away, mental health professionals, all these people. But honestly, in my opinion, it's just a case of excusing white girl behavior. Personally, that's what I thought it was. Okay, so after this all happens, you have the true crime community scouring the internet for digital footprints. And we find out that the two girls, Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogen, they started off at this place called the Corner Club. And they left the Corner Club, say, sometime after 1. Okay. And at first, everybody was like, oh, it was Hoodie Guy, this guy who walked them from the Corner Club to this place called the Grub Truck, where there's more digital footprint. He's right there. And people were watching this. This is a whole video, a live stream, right? And they are watching the body language between the girls and this Hoodie Guy. And they're like, he seems suspicious. Not to mention when he was walking them in the other video. In this photo, he's walking with the girls and a blip of their conversation is caught on an audio on a camera when they're walking. And he says to one of the girls, they're going to get you for that, Maddie. That seems really suspicious, right? So people are like, so he's involved, right? Gets into the Grub Truck. They kind of snub him and they leave and they get a car home. As for Ethan and Xana, they went to a fraternity party. And early on, there was a theory because everyone was like, oh, someone was stalking the girls and that's who committed this murder because they were pretty hot girls, right? But there was another theory that popped on like 4chan or somewhere like that, and it was called the Fratanon theory. And it seemed super plausible to me, but apparently, according to this theory, Ethan here, some of the frat brothers did not like him, right? It was two guys named, I'm not going to even say their names because people get on to you about that. But the two D's, right? They did not like this guy and they did not like they did not like Kaylee. And allegedly, they lived across the street. They were able to leave their phones on, playing YouTube across the street, murder these four people in cold blood, and then get back within 20 minutes. Nothing ever came of that because next thing you know, the police are looking for a Honda Elantra, right? There's this video that comes in from a convenience store that says that they see, because the cops said they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra. And so they say, this is it. But this wasn't it. Just FYI, this wasn't it. Later we found out the white Hyundai Elantra was based on those lights. Yeah, that's the white Hyundai Elantra. I can't tell. I never could tell. Even in the moving video, you can't tell like exactly what color the car is. It is a black and white video, but nonetheless, that's what caused them to look for a Hyundai Elantra. And then someone sent in that video of the wrong Hyundai Elantra. I better speed this up. Okay, so also they were looking for a K-bar knife because they found a knife sheath under one of the bodies. And I thought immediately, yo, how convenient. It's like evidence right there. It felt planted, but, I don't lean in towards always trusting law enforcement's version of events. So they find this knife sheath, not the knife, just the knife sheath under the body. And it conveniently enough has a little bit of DNA in it. And they use a private DNA that people donate to those ancestry companies to discover whose DNA is on this knife sheath. And they arrest Bryan Kohberger. And this is in like late December. They arrest this guy. And we're just left to be like, okay, I guess it was him. Eventually we get more evidence. The infamous probable cause affidavit. And I don't have time to break down the whole probable cause affidavit, but in summary, they find this white Hyundai Elantra on that video that I showed y'all. And then they also say that Bryan Kohberger's phone was pinging near the home, which he could have just been in the area. But people ran with it and were like, he was near the home 23 times. His phone pinged to the tower near the home 23 times, which maybe just passing on the highway that could have happened, but that's neither here nor there. They get this guy, they hold him, and then we start marching up to trial. And I always say settlement happens on the courthouse steps, and that's kind of what happened with this case. It did not help that Mr. Bryan Kohberger was kind of weird, okay? Like a criminology student, didn't have many friends in the area, would be out at night late. So you could easily believe someone like him would do it. But I'll tell you what, when I saw him, I was like, he seems too small of a person to have done this to 4 people around the same time. And one of the guys being a pretty big guy, because Ethan Chapin was not a small man. And then all the post-trial evidence came out, and we start reading everything. In addition to the probable cause affidavits, there's evidence that comes out that also says our hoodie guy, Mr. Jack Showalter, had blood in his apartment that night. From that night or around that night, that he left his apartment in the middle of the night to go to his parents' hunting cabin. It just seemed very strange. And the blood samples that they took from his apartment, if I remember correctly, were in a fridge that went bad and they never got to test it. It just seemed, after reading the post, judgment documents after he pled guilty, it just felt like, man, this was some bad police work. And so that's why I, to this day, cannot accept the narrative we have been given. There's too many things. I've gone through the roommates' interviews. Dylan Mortensen's story changed a lot. And yeah, witnesses can do that, but she's a bad witness. How you gonna use her in another hand to be like, oh, he had bushy eyebrows, when her story, she never kept her story straight. Was she ever a suspect because she didn't keep her story straight? It's just giving like white women tears and like excuse them. And then Jack Showalter, he has a powerful family in Idaho. It gives privilege. So the police work wasn't good enough for me to believe that Bryan Kohberger did this alone. And that's the blame. I blame the police work.